Hello, everyone. This is Digger here, joined in by Mike from Readycheckraideo.
Hello. How are you, friendo?
So what we're going to be doing is talking about the recap of both Kingston and Ottawa's tournament. Just how the tournament was run comparatively to each other, how the matches were, and so on. I know there was already streamed video of the recorded matches, thanks to Gabe from On the Draw Games. So what we're going to be talking about is basically the other part of it, of organization or otherwise. So, so I guess we'll start off with comparisons of what was different compared to each of the tournaments. So, Mike, you were at both of them.
Made the drive from Pittsburgh with my son for both of them. Spent 2 lovely weekends in hanging out with my Canadian brethren. It was awesome.
Oh, definitely. And that's quite the drive.
Yeah, I mean, well, Ottawa was like 9.5 in one direction, and then Kingston wasn't so bad comparatively. Like 2 weeks later, we drive to Kingston, and it's like 7:15, 7:20, and we're like, this is easy. This is an easy drive, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, you just go over like the Thousand Island Bridge, just turn right at the 401, or sorry, left at the 401, just go, you're there.
Yep, you're there. It literally dropped us right in there. And then like Ottawa, we got to do like so many like cool things. Like neither my son or I had ever been to Canada before.
Oh, wow.
I have friends in Canada, but never visited. And so we, like the weekend we were in Ottawa after the tournament, we then went to downtown Ottawa and to the mall down there and the city hall or the city center or the Parliament building or whatever it was called. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry, Canada. And then we went to casino, and like my son is 19. So he was absolutely loved it because he was able to legally buy beer there and go to a casino in Canada where he'd have to be, 21 here in the U.S.
So he was
I
yes!
gave him the option when we were on our way home from Ottawa. And I said, look, I have tickets to the Detroit Store Championship. That's a little over 5 hours from us. But it's the same day as the Kingston Store Championship. 7 hours and 7.5 hours from us. I said, I don't care about the 2-hour difference in drives. I'll let you pick which one we go to. I already have tickets to Detroit. It's no big deal to get tickets to the Kingston one. I'll hit Digger up and say, hey, our tickets available, throw our names in there. Not a big deal. I'll let you pick which one we go to. And we had some Pittsburgh locals going to Detroit as well. In fact, one of our locals got their Nats invite in Detroit through a roll down. So congrats, Climus, on that one. And he immediately was like, we're going to go to Kingston. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can go there. And he was like, I can buy beer and go to the casino. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it.
It was like,
we'll go to Kingston.
That makes sense, yeah. I mean, when you're like 18, 19, and it's like, you have to wait for 2 or 3 more years, or...
Yep. Yeah, he was like, we're going to Kingston. I was like, okay, fine. We went to Kingston. We had a blast. I mean, we saw some friends that we had seen at other store championships and at Materia Cup so far this year. Some of your Shane and Amethyst and Devin and too many names. I don't want to forget anybody. So we'll just say bunches of friends at both. So it was a good time. Both of them were a great time.
I feel bad that the one group wanted to come, but it couldn't because the shop does have a dog that's... I mean, some of the shops in Canada do have pets of it there, but because the one group has a player that's deathly allergic to dogs, and it's like, even if we didn't have the dog there, we couldn't get all the hair out enough to make a difference.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
so I was like,
Bo became my buddy. I love Bo.
Bobo.
Bobo's awesome.
He's kind of like the store's unofficial official mascot.
Right.
He just doesn't like cars or bikes or skateboards. Like, there are times where he just barks at them. It's like, hey, quit it. But so I know Ottawa did things a little bit differently. I know the store owner, people know him as either Jack Dan or Dan or otherwise, but him and Richard worked together on that stuff. And me and George and Jason, when he came in for a shift, actually all 3 of us worked together on what we could. Oh, and plus the guy that was running the recordings, like the stream matches, he definitely stepped up and cooked the barbecue for everyone.
And that was awesome. I thought it was cool providing lunch for everybody at Action Pack. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of had to. Truth be told, their barbecue bit the dust. I was like, I'm bringing mine just in case. So I was like,
just in case.
Right, Plan B.
Always have a Plan B.
Right. So comparatively to each tournament, what would you say was different compared to each? Like, I know I was at Ottawa's participating and I ran Kingston, but I want to hear from you of what you think was different and what you think was effective versus the other or otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to compare events. Obviously, we're looking at every single event. I'm sure there are better run events and not so good run events. It happens in everything. Both of these events, at least from my perspective, and there's always going to be like that one or two people in this certain situation that might have a totally different opinion. But we had a good time at both. We thought when we came to Ottawa, everything was very cool. It was very streamlined. They had the cool card dividers that they were giving out for just entry, and then in between rounds, that was like your incentive to get your ass up there and report. Was you could grab another one of these, or hey, we've changed the promos out each round. Grab a promo when you report. So that was kind of a nice. I had never seen any store do something like that in between each round. I've been to stores where they give away like very particular or unique things to their store. But hey, whether you need the promos or not, every round, go up, do your reporting, and we have 3 different promos or whatever to pick from. Go ahead and snag one. Yeah. That I thought was really cool, and it definitely expedited reporting. It absolutely expedited reporting, because that whole event just seemed to pop. It was bang, bang, bang. Now, granted, it didn't have very many matches go to time. And that certainly helps too, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
When you could keep the number of matches going to turn 0, turn 1, turn 2 down, that's going to help. But it was like, we got there, we started at 10. We were done with Swiss by like, 2:30? Something like that. And then, hey, they gave a whole hour lunch break, come on back, and then the entire event was like wrapped up by 5 for everybody in Top Cut. So it just felt snappy. I liked some of that stuff. I loved that. That was a very cool store. It was the first time, obviously, I'd ever been there. Yeah. Everybody was super nice and, welcoming to us crazy Americans and everything. But it was a good time. Then Action Pack Comics was a fantastic event as well. You and the OSS team very graciously supplied me with an OSS mat and deck box and like kind of honorary membered me into the crew. So that was very cool, very generous. The store was really unique. Is that like an old?
It is an old building, yes.
Yeah. I couldn't tell what if it had been like an old apartment or an old house or.
It was another store previously.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I really like the almost like, hey, this is our personal store. It doesn't have the glitz and glamour of like a chain hobby store. And it was really interesting with Bobo, my buddy. I love Bobo. They had a ton of freaking product. Like, that store is into everything.
Right.
Like, there was like retro video games on the shelf. Then there's board games that are the newest of the new. Then there's, Montreal Canadian hockey jerseys on the wall. Like, whatever gaming you were into, they had something along those lines as well. And then the whole additional play space downstairs, I mean, that just puts it all together, gives you a bunch of area to accommodate. Because how many were there? Like 25-ish?
We had about
28-ish, something like that.
25, 28, yeah, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was spacing out everybody was kind of nice, too. Yeah. I wish, at Action Pack Comics, I wish it was all one play area.
But
with the layout, they can't possibly do that. So it's not really a store's fault on that front.
But the kind of the kicker for that, though, because there was a downstairs and there was upstairs, during the second reopening for COVID that we had, we were allowed to do in-person inside store gameplay.
Oh, because the tables are spaced out.
No. It's because we can, as long as I talked to the local health unit, they said, yeah, if it's a maximum of 5 people and you all know each other, know where you've been, you can go to the store. We know there's a basement. You can go downstairs as long that makes it so people can shop upstairs without. So we could have done that very easily without like the police going, yeah,
right,
and like just going, fine, right. And it was like, so
then see, there's benefits to it. Then there's benefits to it,
right? And there was a whole bunch of stuff that we were able to do during COVID where other shops weren't. So that's whatever. But whole other topic. Sorry. But other than that, I know we were the only store so far that recorded and were streamed. I know streamed our matches. The second commentator, Lapis, that was on Gabe's stream, is going to try to do edits and whatnot, try to spruce it up a bit. Cool. And then we'll have a little bit. So me, and Gabe will have copies of it, and then we'll do what we need to on our channels.
Nice.
Yeah. Apart from that, how was it
for you? I mean, because you participated in one, and then you kind of like TO'd the other one. So what was your take on both events? One as a player, and then one as, okay, this is stuff that I would like to see when I'm running the show, and now you're running the show.
So the honest opinion, I wish mine was a little bit smoother, because without going into details, there were a couple things I wish went smoother. But then again, you're always your worst critic, right?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So I just like the startup was a little rocky, I will admit that. But once I got going, it was fine. And then obviously trying to get everything, because I was running around like all over the place, right? So the benefit for Ottawa's, the TO Richard for Ottawa's, it was all one row of tables.
Yep. Yeah, it was super easy.
And then you can just go straight to Richard and whatnot. It was very quick and, like you said, snappy. Yep. But for me, it's a little bit different layout. And I'm happy that I had the 2 judges I had. The one from upstairs was able to report the matches that were finished on his floor to me, which is great. Same for downstairs when he could. As far as I know, though, downstairs had more judge questions versus upstairs.
So I was downstairs on for a couple of matches, but the only one we called a judge for was round 2. Mm-hmm. And I was actually on stream with Devin, who's fantastic guy. I wouldn't even know him had I not come to Canada, actually. Yeah. Devin, I met at the Ottawa event. I played him in round 1, and I got the win there. And so he got his revenge on me in round 2 in Kingston on stream. So I guess his is better because there's video evidence of it. But super fantastic guy. I absolutely love him to death. And we like chit chat and bullshit the whole time while we're playing. But so we called a judge over. There was late in game, I had a Warrior of Light on board active, and he had Nero on field, and he played Weiss. So, you know, Nero wants to make me discard. And so in response, I ping Weiss with 5K. I Asura my 2 forwards, and I ping Weiss for another 5K to get Weiss off the field before the discard. And Devin was a little confused by it. Turns out he wasn't confused by what I was actually doing. He thought I was trying to get the discard effect out. And I was like, we called a judge over to go through it, and the judge, was totally fine and understood what was going on and said, yeah, that works. Weiss will be gone. And I said, oh, Devin, do you think I was trying to cancel the discard? No. I'm still going to have to discard. I'm just trying to get Weiss out of here before I do it so I don't get dull frozen. And he's like, oh, okay, we're good. We didn't even need a judge. But I heard there were some other judge calls that maybe didn't go so smooth.
Yeah, but it's just because there's not a lot of judges in Canada. Like, we have one. He's slowly trying to get back into the ruling. It's our only level 1, so... the one that was upstairs was our second official judge from the last judge test. So before COVID and all that stuff, he passed level 0. Right. And he was supposed to shadow our level 1 at the regional, but COVID.
Yep. That's where I got stuck to. I had taken and passed the test at a Crystal Cup, and then was supposed to... I was actually going to shadow at the L3 event that year that was going to be at Phoenixville.
And there was going to be staff there, right?
Yeah. There was going to be
that-
staff there, and I was going to shadow there, and then
Yeah.
the event ended up getting canceled for COVID. So here I am, whatever. waiting.
Sadly, in NA, it didn't work like in EU.
Oh,
In EU, if you pass your level 0 and you need to get to your level 1, Tim, before he left, really great guy, by the way, for the EU rep, he was able, since he had the emails, he emailed everyone saying, okay, you passed level 0, for COVID, I'll do an exam over webcam and test you to get your level 1.
Oh, okay.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
That was up to him to do. So each,
Yeah.
So that and oddly enough, Australia's rep and European rep at the time were both named Tim. So
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, wow, okay. But so whenever, because obviously there's going to be a judge test coming up again, like it's inevitable. Whenever that pops up again, there's going to be a few people in Kingston that want to take that test. I don't know if Alex, the upstairs judge, will be just grandfathered in to get his level 1. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
I don't know either. I don't know if he's going to be grandfathered in, because I know our level 1 judge, because he's been doing stuff for a while as a judge previously, he was he still took the level 0 test and passed, but he was grandfathered in as a level 1 because of his previous work.
Makes sense.
So, other than that, is there any? Sorry, we're just getting off track a couple times, but it should be fine. it's a good way to liven up. So, what sort of other like you said the personal touch for Ottawa, you said some of it for Kingston. Now, obviously, it's not going to be as competitive, but is there any sort of personal touches that you would, not really you would, but that you like that Kingston does provide? If you were like you or another locals were going to decide, hey, there's still the OSS, because that's where it's going to be held like every 4 times a year, right? That's the hub,
Right.
So, is there anything that you would say like, hey, they have this personal touch, I really like it, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah, you guys have hanging on like a pillar about halfway through the store on the first floor, the entry floor. You guys actually have like a full plaque for Final Fantasy TCG. I have never seen that at any store. And it's for like I think it's for your OSS series.
It's
so
for our locals,
like,
actually.
For your locals, and it's one of those, like, if you've ever seen them at high schools, there's a plaque with like the description of what it is on the top, and then there's spaces for like little metal nameplates when they're engraved to be slid into there.
Yep.
That was really slick. I thought, like, having this cool, it's not cheap, right? It's like a metal engraved wood plaque, and it has the name and the month of each person and who won in the locals. That I thought was a really nice touch. I've been to other stores where they have like a dry erase board, right? And they're keeping track of different seasons and stuff but I thought that was like a really classy touch.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we have a leaderboard as well, like where we just like marker it and whatnot, but we couldn't hang it because it was just bulky. So I have it at my studio. It's like whenever whoever wins, I just write the names and take a picture and blah 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 blah. So the OSS does though have its own trophy plaque.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so the trophy plaque for the OSS is at the end of the year. Now I got a system in place where I just count whatever. Whoever gets the highest amount of points throughout the year of taking part in OSS will get their name for Player of the Year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think I've posted pictures about it previously.
Yeah, I thought that was like a nice touch. It was like almost like a Final Fantasy TCG Hall of Fame for the locals and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, and that's a really nice touch for that. Now, I know the shop's been very accommodating for all of my shenanigans. Honestly, like working with me on projects and whatnot, I'm sure, and they voice it to me as well, and I voiced my kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Stress to them. We've done that back and forth. It was kind of like auto body like shop atmosphere for me.
Right.
Because I've worked at like in the parts department at a body shop before growing up as a part-time job. So as soon as I started working there, I'm like, oh, I can handle this. It's not a big deal. So
Did you miss not being able to play?
Honestly,
because I know you want to try to qualify for Nats. That's the whole reason you were in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And here's a chance. It's at your home store, and I would have done the same thing you did, right? Like if it's at my home store, I'm not playing. I'm gonna TO this thing and make sure like it's the best that I can make it be, and welcome people to my city and my home store. Like I get it. I would have done the same thing you did, but there is that part of me that goes, "This is a shot at that freaking invite." And I'm taking it away from myself, the opportunity to try and go get it.
No, and that's I wish I could have, but I mean the shop was going, you can't you? No, I can't. Why not?
No, you can't TO it and participate.
No, it's like they're like, why not?
Conflicty.
It's not. Well, yeah, because I was like, because I'm staff. It's like, oh, well, yeah, no, that makes sense. They're going, why can't you do it as well? That doesn't. Oh no, yeah.
That's a little conflicty.
Yeah.
Like, there's no official rules on it, right?
No, there's nothing written about it, but it's just like, it looks bad. Like,
yeah. I would have done the same thing. Like, you totally made the exact same call I would, but I still, in the back of my head, would be like, is there an extra store championship I can feasibly make it to make up for not participating in this one?
Oh, yeah. I know before, we were chosen for the store championship, which was great. I have to thank Square Enix for that, honestly.
Yeah, you were one of the lucky, 20th, man.
I was like, and there's only 3 in Canada, so I was like, we were chosen. I was like,
it was Kingston, Ottawa, and Winnipeg, I think is the third one?
Yeah, so in Manitoba, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh. So actually, it got to the point where, depending if the tournament was still in mid-flow, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was that same night, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals was that same night. The shop owners decided if your tournament's still in mid-flow and there's not enough room after all said and done, you can go take a hike for this day.
Yeah.
Like they were anticipating going, okay, if it's going, that was their plan B. They're still going to do Yu-Gi-Oh! If everything went smoothly, but if it didn't, or didn't go smoothly, if there's still people there and it's still mid-flow, they're like, do it another day. So like, oh, wow.
Well, makes it look good. Makes it look good.
So, actually, I was going to ask, you got to use your credit, right?
No, I don't think I did actually. Oh no, I didn't because you had notified me.
I think that night or early morning.
I think that night because you were like, hey, you were top 8, you get whatever the store credit was, and if I could stop by the next morning. But we were leaving back to Pittsburgh before the store was open.
Yeah, so. It opens at 11 or so. So
yeah, we were headed back at like 9:30 in the morning, so that we were home here around like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
So I have store credit on file with Action Pack if anybody needs store credit.
Well, to be fair, the shop, like, I know there's shops that go, yeah, you can't pay for your entry with store credit or blah 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 blah. Action Pack, they go, it's your money. Do whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah, and I made top 8 in Ottawa too, and they gave us some store credits. Like I just got a Warhammer book or something. So I would have definitely found something to grab had I not already left the store and didn't know about the credit. But that was another nice little touch. But both stores threw in a little extra prizing on their side too, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to do both sales for the singles.
Yeah.
And everything else.
You had all the binders and boxes, everything.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, I mean,
you did great, man. You did great.
Apart from that, so we've mentioned both the different touches, the differences, how different things are run. Sorry, I just keep going. I just keep saying it a lot. Oh well, I might have to count like on Frieza on Dragon Ball Bridge. So based on some of the stuff for Kingston and how it felt for the shop, I know it's not official in terms of official tournaments, though I'm wondering would you come back for an OSS or suggest if other people are interested, whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, there isn't a single thing about our experience in Ottawa or Kingston that was like, yeah, I don't know if I'd make this trip again for a store championship or if I'd come up and participate in OSS here and there. Like, absolutely. Yeah. The only thing that would ever stop me from headed to Action Pack and maybe do an OSS would literally be my personal time schedule with work and having to get to and from there. There wasn't a single thing about either event that would keep me away next time. You get a store championship next year, I'm going to be there next year. Like, it's going to be from here on out until the end of time.
So I feel bad that the one store in Gatineau, Quebec, couldn't get one because, well, Quebec's dumb gambling laws.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
I don't know any of that stuff.
So, another job I worked at, my boss there has done shows in Quebec.
Okay.
There's a reason why he doesn't go back. You can still do events. That's fine. Quebec won't stop you from doing events if you pay for the license fee of that day.
Oh, like even, like a regular store championship requires a separate license through what, like their gambling entities or something?
It's because how the gambling stuff will be and whatnot. It's how Quebec runs it and labels stuff like that.
Right.
Because you're still paying money and trying to win
to take a chance at winning X prize.
Yeah, and that's either money value or whatnot, right? In some form. So they still label that as gambling.
Wow.
So basically, for coming back to Canada, there's also the Action Pact. I know myself. Sorry, doing a slight little plug in here.
Hey, it's your channel. Do it, brother.
So I know I'm in a collaboration with Action Pact for an online store and whatnot.
Yep.
I also have set up, as time goes on, I'm going to be able to get more stock from Action Pact as singles.
Oh, nice.
So I have that all set up. I just have to figure out that going on. I do also have space. It's not as big. But if people are up and they're up for a weekend from out of town or otherwise, and it's like, hey, we want to play some cards, and the time slot just doesn't work at the shop, I do have space. So,
nice.
i.e., starting an online store and having game space. So there's that. So with all that said, I know I would have liked to possibly make Nats, but wasn't really.
I would have too, man.
I'm going to say this.
I top cutted both times in Canada, but couldn't fight my way through. As I've said on a different podcast, that I'm at the moment multiple top cuts. I'm always a tyro, never a cloud lately. Kind of like always a bridesmaid, never a bride type deal.
Oh. I mean,
I got like multiple play sets of tyro at this point. I'm done collecting tyros. I need some clouds.
This is going to be a really bad pun, but might as well. It wasn't in the cards for me to get top.
He said the thing.
It's like, okay. With all that said, I want to thank you, by the way, for coming on. And
no, always my pleasure, sir. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah,
Very kind of you, and thank you for welcoming us and making my son and I honorary OSS for a day. The play mat and the deck box are gorgeous, and it was very kind of you and the entire team. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully, people back in your locals actually like the fact that it was a thing, right?
Yeah. It was very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. And actually, thank you for coming on, and hopefully the rest of your time for going to regionals or otherwise is actually good.
Hope so. I got the North Carolina Materia Cup, store championship in West Virginia, and a store championship in Ohio. Those are the 3 that I'm definitely going to. So we'll see what happens.
Best of luck. Honestly, you've been topping for a little while. Might as well get that invite.
Right? I hope so, brother. I hope so.
So from there, I'd like to say thanks for everyone for watching, and again, thank you, Mike, for coming on, and I'll have to end it from there. So have yourself a good one.